Welcome back. This is Bree with 6 Hearts on 6 Acres. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today I am getting more seeds started. We are 9 weeks out from our last frost. Like I told you, I have some major spring fever going on. I already feel like I'm behind in my garden and I want to get all of the seeds started. I'm going to go ahead and start today by starting flower seeds and pepper seeds. So I just went through all of my seeds and decided what I would like to go ahead and start today. I'm going to start a mixture of a few hot peppers that I missed last time, a cauliflower that I just got in the mail, and then my eggplant, my sweet peppers, some flowers, and a few herbs. So we are going to go ahead and get those started into our seed trays. Oh, that had water in it. I just washed it. But we're going to get these started into our seed trays and get them moved to the basement. We are 9 weeks from our last frost, or our average last frost, which is April 20th for our area. Today is a cool, rainy day. It's very normal for what we would expect to have seasonally, but the weather that we've been having has not been. It's been very warm, and after this little cold spell, it's going to get really warm again. I was talking with a garden friend yesterday, and we were talking about how we feel so behind on our gardens already, and the reason is because it's been so warm this year. So I'm going to go ahead and get these things started so that they have a jump start when it's time to go into the spring garden. I start my garden from seed for a few different reasons. The first being that I love to add a ton of unique heirloom and hybrid varieties to my garden. That wouldn't be possible if I were only shopping at the big box stores and nurseries around me for plants. They grow large amounts of a minimal amount of different varieties, which is pretty much the opposite of what I try to do in my garden. The second reason is because it lets me start gardening in the winter months. Gardening brings me so much joy, and it really gives me something to look forward to when it's cold outside. So the earlier I can get started, the better. And then, of course, you have to count on the cost savings. I can purchase a pack of seeds for $2. That package can then grow me 15 to 300 plants depending on how many seeds are included. One single plant at Lowe's last year was $5. That is a huge savings when you're talking about an entire garden full. I wanted to show you these Burpee trays that I bought last year. I just got these from Walmart. And I wouldn't recommend them. They were like $12 and they're falling apart already, so they only lasted me one season. This piece is broken off of that side and it's about to break off of this side as well. The bottom of these trays have these little silicone inserts so that you can push your plant out, which is nice, but a few of these trays, the silicone inserts have just completely fallen off. So these aren't something that I would invest in again. Oh, see. It just completely broke off. So these aren't something that I would invest in again. I'm going to use them because I have them, but don't waste your money on these. All right, I'm going to go get all 4 of these trays wet, and then I will be right back. Alright, because I have multiple trays that look really similar, I'm going to go ahead and label my trays, just tray 1, 2, 3, and 4. I use my label maker to do this. You don't have to be fancy, you can write on a piece of tape or something. Last year, actually, I used nail polish to mark them, and then I wrote in my book what color each tray was with the nail polish, but I have this, so I'm going to use it this year. Pretend like I'm organized or something like that. These are 6x6 trays. So in tray 1, we're going to go ahead and start our flowers, and I'm just going to write down what I'm starting. And I don't need 6 of every single variety. Well, I always pick too many flowers and I don't have enough room. So let me narrow these down just a little bit. I know I want a black-eyed Susan vine. I have a really pretty metal ladder, and I'd like this to climb up all over it. I have a lot of calendula. I grow those to save the, I pull off the flowers and then I dry them and I save them, and I plan on using them to make a salve. I'm gonna grow loofah this year, and loofah is a gourd that you can dry and use to make your own sponges, and I would like to make my own soap that has the loofah gourd and the dried calendula. So I know that's not something I'm going to cut. I have 3 different varieties. Oh, I have 4 different varieties. This one's a dwarf, so I think I'll cut that. So I'm just going to go the 3 varieties of calendula. I usually purchase marigold, but this year I wanted to try starting my own, so I'm not going to cut that. I might cut 1 variety. I probably don't need 3 different kinds. So I'm going to stick with the French blend in the Kilimanjaro white. And then I have 2 different varieties of status. I have a Russian and an apricot. I say I'm going to narrow these down. I'm not doing a very good job, am I? Straw flower was a first for me last year, and they are such a cool flower. Actually, I have one dried. Let me go grab it real quick. This is straw flower. They grow in your garden, and they are not like a soft petaled flower. They're very much like their name. They feel like straw, and they are pretty much already dry even as they're growing. You can harvest them and then keep them year long as a dried flower, and I just use them in some arrangements in my home. They're really neat. They have a lot more color when they are on the plant, and obviously they lose it as they continue to dry. This was the silvery rose variety, and it's still got some pink to it. It's really pretty. I also grew a red straw flower, and I'm going to do both of them again this year. I forgot I had some of the red dried as well, so here it is. It's so pretty. Oh. I grew asters last year, and these might be one that I'm going to cut. They were pretty, but they weren't anything special, and they didn't have tall stems to use in bouquets. This aster apricot says it's a king size variety, so maybe we'll cut the violet and we'll use the apricot one this year. Gomphrena is something that I grew last year, and we really loved using it in, I really loved using it in my bouquets. It's just a small little flower, and it adds a really pretty accent. I've never grown hollyhocks before, but I think instead of starting them, I'm just going to sprinkle them around outside and see what happens, since our weather has been so warm and I don't want to use up all of my grow light space. And I will be growing this Pampas Plume Celosia. This is my daughter Olivia's favorite flower. She picked out the seeds, so we can't keep it out of the garden. And lastly, I have Anise Hyssop. I don't know if you can see the picture on there. This was sent to me by a fellow seed saver. I've never grown it before, but it's supposed to be really excellent for bringing pollinators to the garden, so I'm not going to leave that out either. So I will figure out how to get it all fitted. so the first tray I decided I'm just going to do marigolds. I like to plant marigolds around my tomatoes. They're an excellent companion planting. They have a smell. I personally like the smell. A lot of people think it stinks, but insects also think it stinks. So it really helps to keep your plants pest-free. So I'm going to do 3 columns of the Kilimanjaro white and then 3 columns of the French blend. Marigold seeds are kind of interesting looking. They almost look like, I don't know if you can see this. They look like a little, here you can see it with my shirt. There we go. They look like a little matchstick. They're super easy to save seed from. So once I grow these varieties, I won't ever have to purchase the seeds again. Okay, so I made my decision about what I'm going to plant and how many of each plant. I'm going to go in with 3 of the apricot status. I grew these last year and they're so pretty to throw in bouquets. My pen is doing double duty today, making my holes and keeping what I plant straight. So we're going to go in 3 spots with the apricot status. And then 3 of the Russian status. I've never grown this before, but the picture really caught my eye. It's beautiful. And the apricot status last year grew so well, so I'm sure this will do really well in my garden. It's a package within a package. All right, these Russian status seeds are way tinier than the apricot status seeds. All right, those are in. Next is the apricot aster, 3 of those as well. And the 3 of the pampas plume celosia. 3 of the vining black-eyed Susan. 3 of the mixed Gumfrina. 3 of the anise hyssop. 3 of the sunset bluff calendula. 'Calendula seeds are a really interesting looking seed as well. They almost look, they're like a little hook. Three of the ball orange calendula. 3 of the snow princess calendula. Calendula doesn't have to be started indoors. It can be put out after your last frost and started that way. And it grows fine. The reason I like to start it indoors though is because I had a problem with slugs eating all of my little calendula starts last year. So this year, all of them are going to be started inside. One really great thing about doing this on video is you can go back and check your work. I was sitting here thinking, I don't think I planted my straw flowers. So I went back and looked and I did not, but I did leave their row empty. So I'm going to go in with 3 copper red straw flowers. And then 3 of the silvery rose straw flowers. All right, all of my flowers that I am going to be starting inside are done. That took not long at all. And here in a few months, I'm going to have some beautiful blooms in my garden. The reason I start flowers in my garden is one, for beauty. My garden is very productive and it feeds our family well, but I don't only grow it for that purpose. I grow it for the purpose of enjoyment and being able to go outside and just really enjoy what I'm growing and seeing the beauty that everything out there offers, all the different colors. It really makes my day. So that is one reason. Another reason is because pollinators love the flowers. So because I plant such a large variety, I have a garden full of butterflies and hummingbirds and ladybugs and lacewings and just all of the great bugs and animals, bumblebees, forgot the major one, bumblebees and honeybees, and just all of the insect life that is needed to keep your garden growing are super attracted to all these variety of flowers that I am planting. All right, tray number 2 is done. All right, on tray number 3, we're gonna go in with this Loot Shower Paprika. I plan to grow 6 of these, at least 6. And then, whoops, forgot to make my holes. Grow 6 of these, and then as I harvest them, I will smoke them and dehydrate them, and then powder them so that I have grown my own paprika powder. I use paprika in almost all of my cooking. It's something I reach for every day. And those things that I use frequently, I would like to have grown from my own garden. So like I said, a minimum of 6. I'm going to multi-seed these trays because I really would actually like to have more than 6 of these to make the amount of paprika powder that is actually, usable. There's no point in doing all of this work if you're gonna only have a small bottle of paprika powder. So I am gonna multi-sow these, and then once they sprout, I will separate them into bigger containers so they have more room. Multi-sowing lets you get several started at once without taking up too many of your resources for heat and light at the beginning. Next, I'm going to go in with 3 golden Marconis and then 3 red Marconis. Next will be 3 shishitos. Three Jimmy Nardellos. I wrote down 6 Cubanelles, but this package is actually not sounding very full, so we will see if we get to do that many. Oh yeah, we will. Cubanelles make one of our favorite meals in the summer, stuffed Italian peppers, and they grow prolifically. 1 seed left, so I'll throw it in there. Next is a whole row of Megatron jalapenos. These are really big, like almost 5-inch long jalapenos that are perfect for stuffing. They're mild, they're not super hot. They do have a little bit of a bite. I would like to grow enough of these to be able to stuff them and then freeze them to be pulled out all year long. Another one of those pack inside of a pack. And there are not many of these seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So hopefully they all germinate. Next, we're going to have 3 serrano peppers. I like to use these in salsa I'm not a big spicy fan, but my husband is, so I grow these for him. Last year I did so many hot peppers that I dedicated an entire bed to hot peppers. Not doing that this year. I just don't feel the need to after canning so much hot sauce last year. We still have plenty left and I don't need to use garden space for that this year. This package is hard to open. All right, and last we're going in with a candy cane sweet pepper. Get those all covered up, and then tray 3 will be finished. Pepper seeds take quite a while to germinate. I would say much longer than really pretty much anything else I do, except my celery. My celery still has not germinated yet either. It's taking a while, but pepper seeds take anywhere from 5 days to 2 weeks. And hot pepper seeds take even longer than sweet pepper seeds. To speed up that germination, I wet my soil with warm water, and I keep it watered with warm water. I keep my seed trays on a heat mat that just increases the air temperature by 10 to 15 degrees to help them be warm. They are started in my basement, so not a super warm environment. So that really helps out. And checking on them daily. I'm not sure if that helps or not. Kidding. But it's a bad habit. It's like being on a diet and weighing yourself 10 times a day. It's just as bad with seeds. Getting them planted and then checking on them as much as you possibly can. And then being super surprised when they actually grow. I will never get over the amazement that putting a tiny little seed in that little bit of dirt ends up germinating and then growing me this beautiful plant that supplies a ton of food for our family. I'll never get over the amazement of how that happens. Tray 4 is going to be entirely bell peppers. So yes, 36 bell peppers. I will not keep all of these. I'm growing for my parents as well. But I do like to grow a large amount of bell peppers because they're super multi-purpose. You can use them a variety of ways. I use a lot of them in my canning, and they're great to dry and throw into soups throughout the year, and also just to split in half and freeze so that you have peppers for stuffed peppers throughout the year, and you can dice them and freeze them for fajitas as well. There's probably a lot of other uses, but those are the main ways that I use them. So first I'm going to go in with Purple Beauty bell peppers. These are a really deep purple color. This is my first time growing them. Like I said, I want my garden filled with not only things that taste good, but are also beautiful, which is why I'm often drawn to varieties that are different, like a purple bell pepper. This is your typical red bell pepper, YOLO Wonder Red. Next is going to be the orange bell. Gonna have to go into 1 seed per spot with this one, as I am just almost out of seeds. All right, next is the Ozark Giant. These are another red sweet bell pepper. The red ones are our favorite out of all of the bell peppers. I feel like they have the sweetest flesh, and they're the juiciest as well. golden cal yellow. This is a sweet bell pepper as well. It's really good. The thing is that I didn't keep very good track of what I planted last year, but a whole row of a yellow variety did not germinate. I'm kind of feeling like it was these ones, but I'm not 100% sure. So I am going to cross my fingers and hope that it wasn't this package that didn't germinate. If so, if everything else is germinated and this row hasn't, I will just go back in with a different yellow bell variety that I have. And last is the, oh, not that one. Last is the Keystone Resistant Giant. All right, my bell pepper tray is done. I still have a lot of varieties that I want to get planted that didn't fit into these 4 trays. The me who decided what I was planting this morning is a different me than the one now who is ready for a nap after not getting a great night of sleep. So I am going to go ahead and finish up this tray, and I will get to those herbs, snacking peppers, and eggplant on another day this week. Thank you so much for joining in on another video. I hope you are planting your garden as well, and I will see you next time.